Exactly 6 months ago, the regulator of the Nigerian telecommunication industry (NCC) auctioned the slot of 30 MHz frequency in the 2.3 GHz band. Although about 27 companies expressed interest in the license, but eventually only 2 applied, and following a bid process described by many industry watchers as transparent, a winner emerged.
That auction was a clock-type auction. We had a process that we followed. We passed information in particular ways. Documents were published at different times. We did the auction software-based. We did not have to carry papers from room to room.
Now the Commission has begun a process for the sale of frequencies in the 2.6 GHz spectrum.
Specifically, we are told by 70 MHz slot in the 2.6 GHz band up for sale, and we are determined to put it up for the most qualified organization to utilize them for the benefit of our nation. Our transparent disposition in the ways and manners in which this auction will be conducted is not negotiable.
Drawing up lessons from the last auction in the 2.3 GHz administration, the Association of Telecoms Companies, ATCON, called on the NCC to explore more options to ensure that more organizations participate in the next bidding process.
One of the disappointments that we had was that we were like zombies at the point. We didn't know that was how we were going to do it, and you didn't. I would have appreciated you to call the ICT journalists to say this is exactly the platform we are going to use. This is how it was developed. This is how the results are going to be. This is what is going to happen, and then you have pre-knowledge of what is going to happen. And if you look at it before the auction, there were so many reports which either did not favor the commission or was based on speculations.
I think what we must realize now is that from the 2.3 lesson, whether it's the last one or the one previous before that, is that we should never allocate frequencies on a national basis. This is the most important issue of our development. If you look at the holders at present of the 2.3, some have not even left Lagos. Some have gone just Lagos, Abuja, some Port Harcourt or whatever. When do you think we're going to see any of them operate in Sokoto or other areas? So what I'm saying is if you want to issue a national license, issue 36 or 72 licenses that they fill in, so that when someone doesn't roll out in a particular state, it is easier legally to retrieve that frequency. If a frequency is allocated on a national basis under one license, there's a legal difficulty in trying to retrieve that frequency.
If the 5 MHz cap that you are considering now is not enough for those who are offering, who would want to offer services on that particular spectrum band, is not enough for them, surely you might need to look a little bit at a larger allocation. And in this regard, I think the question goes back to the NCC. Exactly what do you want people to use this particular spectrum for? And what kind of services do you want them to deliver? I know that now the emphasis and the focus for many operators is data.
In a stakeholders forum held in Lagos recently, operators, vendors, investors, and other key players in the Nigerian telecom space engaged the regulator on critical issues in spectrum licensing, from spectrum packaging to licensing options of wholesale and retail, interference mitigation, and spectrum license tenure. The stakeholders took about 5 hours to deliberate on how best to deepen growth in the sector through a robust licensing regime.
There's something that has been missing in the industry for a while that people are already asking for, and that I think SEC should start thinking about, and that is something like a spectrum market. If I have a spectrum today, I buy based on certain business plan, and for some strange reason my plans are not working as I already scheduled, I may choose to sell my spectrum to someone else. Today, that is not possible by the constraints in the license document, right? But people are now asking for such leverage.
Now, it's broadband revolution. And we have been taking steps one by one. The first auction which happened was 3.5, which was based on regional basis. And that allows 4 operators, minimum of 4 operators per region. From there, we moved to 2.3, and now we are going to 2.6. My belief is this: the 2.6 supposed to be rolled out as retail, not as OC. For 2.6, we have to consider the cost of terminal equipment to the subscriber, because if it's too high, nobody will patronize.
You don't want an industry where all the spectrums are already taken over and there are no competitors. Somebody somewhere sits on the spectrum, even though there is no utilization, and for the reason that if I have the spectrum, no one else can come in. I mean, so you don't want to discourage new entrants. So it should be such that you want to control what each operator has, so that when new entrants come, they can also have a niche.
Now, after this industry-wide consultation, the regulator is expected to review when necessary modalities for the auction of the next spectrum in the 2.6 GHz band and announce the date.
Until we finally arrive at our target, then we can give you time, you hear the timing. But now we cannot give you any time immediately.
Most of the discussions here are technical, though. But the essence of this meeting is to devise ways of making the Nigerian telecom sector more economically viable by improving quality of service and increasing access to telecom services, including voice and data, particularly taking these services to the nooks and crannies of the country.